Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kim Jacobs Show. All right, everyone. I hope that you guys have had a fantastic Labor Day. I am so glad to be in the studio with Dr. Damien Hodge. How are you over there?
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I am doing great. Did you enjoy your holiday weekend?
I did much of nothing, but certainly had a good time doing nothing and watching basketball.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Listen, as you guys come into the studio, go ahead and grab your virtual seats. We're going to have a great show today. We're talking about from hood to hooded, and you'll learn exactly what that means in the very near future. So grab your virtual seats and share with all of your friends. This is a time, Dr. Hodge, for you to share the broadcast. You can share it right from my personal Facebook page because we became friends. If you want to just click over there and share it, you're welcome to, and share it with your friends. That way all of your friends are seeing it as well. Everyone else that's coming in, comment, let me know that you're in the studio. What did you do for Labor Day? Did you do anything special that stands out, that's memorable? Go ahead and type it in the comment section. I love when my studio audience gets a chance to participate. As we go into today's show, make sure if you have questions that you go ahead and ask your questions, because Dr. Hodge may very well be able to answer them for you. So let me pull this up so I can tell you a little bit about this great big, what's that noise? Oh, that's a fan or something?
It's not me.
Okay. I heard a noise. It sounded like my recording thing was still going. I was like, hey, is it still talking? Okay. Let me tell you about this great big smile over here. He is an educator, a strategist, assistant professor and dissertation coach. So that's why we need to speak very articulate, don't play, and be able to make sure everything sounds right, and don't use any extra slang terms or anything. We're just going to say the right pronunciation. Okay.
I can't promise you that.
Okay. Dissertation and elite dissertation services, as well as he's a post-secondary education liaison for the Tennessee Department of Correction. Please welcome Dr. Damien Hodge. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Lot. That's a whole lot right there, right?
Yeah, it is.
But, so you have a lot to your story and a great big smile over there. Tell everybody your journey. Where did you come from? What brought you kind of to where you are today? And let's talk about it some.
Wow. There's so much I can say within right now that it's probably would take more than an hour.
Okay, it's all good. We have some time. Let's rock and roll and talk about really, just so you know, from the show perspective, the people that are watching, many of them have their families. They're trying to help them in different regards too, and grab hold to some key information from the Kim Jacobs Show that can help their lives in some aspect be better from a balanced perspective.
Absolutely. My journey just really derived from a small town outside of Nashville, Tennessee, called Franklin, Tennessee. Not much different than, most ghetto Black communities where, single parent home, drugs all around, violence, and those sort of things. And as a young kid, I looked at those things and I just knew something wasn't right. And it was really me having a wherewithal at the age 16 to really say, hey, I think I want to do something with this life. I think there's some things that I can accomplish. And then I just set out on a journey to do those things. The number one goal.
Let me interrupt you for a second, Dr. Hodge, because a lot of times I let people share their full stories and bring us up to speed as to where we are. But already, I think that there are so many people that, oh, that's what it is. I'm hearing myself some kind of way on your end. Do you have another device on?
No.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Maybe Shannon, I can probably, let me mute
I
her.
don't have anything on.
Okay. Shannon. Yeah, that's what it is. I could hear Shannon. I'm like, I'm hearing a device. What is happening to me? Dr. Hodge, like, don't be blaming me for this craziness that's going on your show. He's like, he's still smiling through. He said, no, not me. Not Dr. Hodge. When you say that you came from, you said a power-packed statement already, from the ghetto, from watching violence and seeing violence in your neighborhood, being able to be raised by a single parent, drugs, all kinds of stuff that you just shared in less than 3 minutes. Right. How do you encourage young people that may be currently experiencing that? They may have where they can see this show some kind of way, and their families may be watching. How do you encourage young people in that situation?
I tell young people all the time is to find what inspires you and find what empowers you. Okay. I think mentorship is so underrated. I can think of several people along my path that really helped me unknowingly.
Unknowingly. So it's not always that you have to find a mentor and that you ask Absolutely. Them to mentor you. Absolutely. But how do they help you unknowingly?
A lot of times it's happenstance. You come across people and you have conversations. I had a guy show up at my high school who wanted me to play in a basketball tournament. Lo and behold, he became my dad. He never knew my mom. He just became that person that helped me get to the next level. He, along with several others who, when I was down and didn't know which way to go, always had an encouraging word, whether that be, took care of me, whether that be monetary, whether that be, let me come pick you up and show you something different. He introduced me to a lot of different people. And that's what I try to impart on our youth today. And I do the same when I walk into to prisons and work with our student population there. My goal is to inspire and to empower wherever I go, whatever I touch. I want to inspire and empower. So I think that when kids can find that, what inspires them and what empowers them, I think it opens the doors for them to go to another level. But that's up to them. A lot of times, you have so many temptations in life and so many people and things just pulling and tugging at you. And you have to figure out a lot of times what's real. I always listen to the voices that was on each side, the voice that said, hey, go on in there and see what happens. And then that other voice, which was God, who said, now you know better than that.
Right.
And I always, when I was in situations, I always said, let me get out of here, because this not going to end well. And it never ended well. So I thank God for giving me that intuitive spirit that would help me listen to what was being said to me, so that I didn't go down that path. Now I can truly tell you that I was probably that close from probably being incarcerated or probably dead, 2 or 3 times. And you take those things and you build upon it and you just become better.
What do you attribute that to for you in your life, as far as, because all of us, like I can say, I literally, when I was younger, was riding to school many days with a young lady, and I had no idea. Later, lo and behold, she had been involved in some, I guess, alleged activity that was that caused her to end up going to jail. And I was like, what? I didn't know this. I didn't know that at all. So for me to be even if it was unbeknownst to me, I was a part of it and didn't even know it.
Right.
Is that what do you feel you attribute your blocking of being in the prison system to?
First of all, the prisons, you know, I'm in, you know, about 10 prisons. My dad opened up a couple of them back in the 70s.
Okay.
So, and my brother was in some of those prisons. So it's the passion to want to help people that go down that path. But even, let me digress just for a second and say this. And I don't like to use the word strong when it comes to women, because I just believe that the other half of them should be strong for them. So let me say that and say this. I had a very, very strong mother who who tirelessly stayed on my case. Right. And there were times I would walk out the door and say, God, she gets on my nerve. And I thank God that I was able to tell her as I got older, thank you for what you did for me. Thank you for taking me to the next level in life. Thank you for being there. Thank you for being that crutch and being that person that said, Damien, you know better. Now, you know, I didn't want to do that way. And so I think, and I also tell the people that I speak with, if you do something wonderful for someone other than yourself, and it makes what you're doing much more meaningful if you take self out of it. So that's what, you know, in getting to the place I am in life now and working with who I work with and the population I work with, it's passion driven. And I just this is the work I do today, I would do for free. I've been doing for free.
Right.
I just happen to get paid for it. How great is that?
That's really great, because that's when you know you really, really are in your mojo, your passion.
They could call me any day and say, I need you to come to this facility or this prison, and I need you to talk and mentor. I would do that for free.
So what made you so passionate about working in because I mean, now you're all the way to the prison system, but now how did you come dealing with your strong mother who raised you? You avoided a lot of darts that could have been directed directly for you.
Absolutely.
And in the projects, growing up in Franklin, Tennessee, how did you get out of that situation to get to where you are now?
Well, I tell this story, and I'm gonna tell it pretty quickly. I had
You can take your time, Dr. Hodge. We got a whole hour, so you take your time.
I remember I was in 5th grade, and I met this kid. He was a Caucasian young man, and he was new to our school. And I remember it like it was yesterday. You know, I've always been, I'm pretty outgoing and you know, I just, you know, I don't meet a stranger. I've been like that as a kid. I just talk to everybody. And I knew he was new. He was very shy and quiet. And I just walked up to him and said, hey, what's your name? And he told me, and I said, well, how old are you? Said, you know, told me his age. I said, well, when's your birthday? And he said, November 27th. I said, no, it's not. That's my birthday. And that's how we became friends.
Wow.
And his mom and dad sort of took me in, you know, under their wing, and just sort of was in the gap for what my mother couldn't do.
Wow.
They were in the gap. So with that said, that was the start of the support right there that I needed. And so I had my mom, and I had the Shannons who I just didn't want to disappoint.
Wow.
And so as a young kid, I realized, I said, man, I got to do something. And I remember, again, being 16, and I had, I was always a good athlete, basketball, football, baseball, always, pretty good. And my dream in life, which I fulfilled, was always to play college basketball on TV. That's all I ever wanted to do in life. I didn't want to play pro. I didn't want to do, all I wanted to do was play on ESPN. That's all I wanted to do, and I was able to do that.
And but when did that happen? What school were you at, and how did it happen?
I signed with I signed a basketball scholarship with East Tennessee State University out of high school. At the time I signed with them, they were ranked number 9 in the country. That's how good they were. And so the next year I came in as a freshman, and went to Japan. Then came back and played the University of Tennessee on television, North Carolina State. We played at Reynolds Coliseum on television. Played in the NCAA tournament, CBS, prime time. Just, I was living the life. I was living my dream. But it was a hard road to get there. But I worked really, really hard, and I had great people supporting me. Mr. Shannon had me working on ACT prep. I mean, the man worked me so hard that there were times that I was angry with him, that I was like, look, I'm tired. And he's, well, you just gonna quit? You're gonna quit? I just had a unbelievable group of people with their arms around me. And I think, and I never had people who said, that I was great, and you can play basketball, you can do this. The people that love me always said, yeah, I see you jump high, you shoot a nice jump shot.
Right.
What do you, high school? What are you gonna do, when it comes to school? And I wasn't the school kind of guy. I just was a get by, let me get this C or maybe this B and let me move on. Because it's passing. So it was a situation where I was okay with mediocrity and just being average.
Wow. And that was your mental, you accepted that. It was fine.
I was always smart enough, but being smart and applying what you have is different. So I just got by. I barely got into college, but I got in. And I'll be frank and honest, I flunked out because I wasn't focused. I didn't. I transferred and ended up attending Tennessee State. Mm-hmm. I played 2 basketball games at Tennessee State where I was a starting point guard. And then our NCAA compliance coordinator, Dr. Wayne Bell, I'll never forget him. We still keep in contact. I was getting ready to play a game. He pulled me off the floor and said, you are academically ineligible. And that is what started me. That was the end of my basketball career. And after that, I dropped out of school. No degree, no nothing. And I worked for the Parks and Recs and, just sort of went around town, like everybody else in their 20s, just trying to find their way.
Oh, yeah, saying same old. How you doing? Yeah. Same old, same. I'm like, you better not say that again. Stop saying that.
Still living in that glory that's gone. And I had a professor who was a great mentor, God rest his soul, Dr. Harry Beeman. Dr. Beeman was the first Black basketball referee in the SEC. So, and he was a professor at Tennessee State. And I remember he told me to just walk away because you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and I don't have time to play games with you and that sort of thing. And these were people who cared about me as a person.
Right.
And I walked away for 2 years just working and really doing nothing. And then one day it just hit me. And I said, I gotta do something. And so I went back to Dr. Beeman. I was begging him to help me, get back in school. And he looked at me and he said, I think you're ready. And I said, I appreciate it. Please help me. So 2 years after that, I graduated.
Wait, I gotta stop you only because you're saying such good stuff that I gotta make sure that people understand something.
Okay.
You humble. It sounds like you hit rock bottom. You were at your highest height.
Yes.
And which was to be on TV, ESPN, playing college basketball on TV in the big lights.
Yes.
It was happening, right?
It was happening.
Life was great. You done came from where you came from. You done impressed the Shannons, impressed your mom. You representing Tennessee, Franklin, Tennessee.
Yes.
And you get to college. Now you're in college. You're playing basketball. And now you academically challenged where they kick you off the team. You out of school. You back just living same old.
Just, hey.
Now.
Here's Damien.
You recognize what, Dr. Hodge? Because this is what I want my audience to know today. As they share this with their young teenage males, whether they black males, white males, doesn't matter what race. The point is, as they share this with their male children that feel like it's okay to be mediocre, mediocrity didn't work for you, and you recognize that. So tell us when you came to that realization and why you came to that realization, so that other people can hear this.
I came to that realization because when you operate in mediocrity, you just don't get the return on investment. It really is true that you get what you put into it. You get back. Every single time that I've done something and wanted something in return, I got exactly what I put into it. So mediocrity is just, it didn't work for me. So I had to elevate. I had to just elevate some. And I'm a firm believer that if you take 2 wonderful steps, God takes 3. And he'll direct your path. And the doors that you want to go into, that you're working really hard to get into, he will kick them open. He will kick them wide open. I am living proof. He will kick them open, and everything on the other side of that door, he will make come to fruition for you. I am living proof. I promise you. I promise you that it can certainly happen.
Okay, good. Go ahead. Carry on.
even still in going back to school, I remember I got my first degree. I graduated on August the 11th, 2001. I started college in August 1991. So here's a 10-year gap. Here's a 10-year gap. Now, mind you, I have a doctoral degree. So now what does that tell you? The work you see the gap in from starting college to finishing with a bachelor's. And once I got that bachelor's, I remember saying to myself, I'm not even going to, my class had long gone. So I'm just not going to graduate. I just want my paper. I remember telling my mom, we cried together and we talked about it. And I said, well, I'm not going to participate in commencement. She said, oh, yes, you are.
Oh, yes, you are. I can see that strong mama saying, yes, you are.
I said, why? I said, the thrill of that is gone for me. She said, it's not for you. It's for me. That's what she said. And I was so excited that, and of course I participated in commencement. She was there. Now, I got my master's. Now, I graduated with my bachelor's in 2001. Got my master's in 2002.
Now you're on a roll.
I'm rolling.
Yeah, you're serious though. It's a turning point here. This is a question. This is a question that one of my studio audience members asked. This story is fantastic. Courtney said, "This is my brother." He said, "What was the turning point once he came back home from school?"
The turning point, and thank you for asking that question. That's a great question, Mr. Jacobs. The turning point for me is you seeing everybody around you and they're doing nothing. And you don't want to fall into that trap of this glamour life and selling drugs and, doing this and doing that to make ends meet. You want to position yourself for greatness. You want to be, you want to do well. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I stayed away and I isolated myself from all the things that I knew that I liked and that would get me in trouble. So I walked away from it, and it was the best. And that's why today I can be by myself and never be lonely.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
I can be alone and be great, and be just great, being alone. Mm-hmm. So that was a great question. I appreciate it. But yeah, and you have to have the wherewithal to know what your true surroundings are. Mm-hmm. True friends come about, but so often. Yeah. And one of the things that I attribute to me being who I am is because I've always been a leader. I've never been a follower. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't even have any tattoos. You know why I don't have any tattoos? Because I don't want to do what everybody else do. When trends come and people wearing different clothes, I don't want to look like everybody else because I'm different. So I don't wear what everybody else wear. I've marched to the beat of my own drum. So if I'm going to get in some trouble, if I'm going to get in any trouble, I can assure you it's going to be my idea. It's not going to be somebody else's. So that's just how, I operate. So
you're inspiring me over here, Dr. Hodge.
When I see people who follow, it that bothers me worse than anything is a follower. And that's what I talk to my youth about all the time, about following people. Why? It's never made sense to me.
Right.
So I went on to, after I finished my master's degree in 2002, it was in December 2002, I actually started the PhD program at the University of Louisville in 2003. So you see the role I'm on.
Now there's no stopping you, and that's a good thing.
No stopping. And then I hit a snag. My mom suddenly passed away in 2005 while I was in the program. And it just sort of sent me in a tailspin, so to speak. But I regrouped and got back in. And of course, I was working, and I regrouped and got back into the program at Tennessee State in 2009. And then I ended up finishing. Of course, my mom was so proud of me, getting my doctorate. She told everybody my son is getting his doctoral degree. She was so proud. And so me finishing had nothing to do with me.
Right.
It had everything to do with the people who believed in me. And she was at the top of that list, along with Dr. Beeman and the Shannons and the support that I had from those people. And so I went and it was tough. It was really, really tough, but I finished it. And you're talking about a guy who flunked out of college. Wow. Who numbers were, I was so afraid of numbers. And now I have a dissertation services business where I work on dissertations. I do statistical work. You know,
That's awesome. Oh my God.
People have to dig deep and find it. It's in there. You must dig deep and find that passion. It is in you. And once it's manifested, oh my God, the gift that you can give the world with what you have inside you is amazing. It's just amazing. So I wake up every day.
I typed that one because I was like, that dig deep and find your passion. It is in you.
It's there. Wow. It's there. You know, I believe I had one of my professors, his name was Dr. Foreman, would always say, motivation, nobody can motivate you. Motivation comes from within.
Yes.
And I just believe that, that we wake up and if we find something that we really want to do, we just dig deep and we go get it. And that's just really been the story of my life when, there was a time that I just wanted to be called doctor because when I flunked off, everybody, they didn't tell me, but how people talk.
Oh yeah,
I knew he wasn't going to be nothing. I knew he wasn't going to do it. I knew he went. So I got that degree because I've been proving people wrong all my life. So I went and got a second one because you thought I wasn't going to get the first one. And then you think you're not going to call me Dr. Hodge, but I'm going to show you that's what you're going to, you got to call me that, and, it gave me a unbelievable platform, to be heard, for people to be inspired. And I know again, wow, if I can do half the things and accomplish half the things that I've accomplished in life, anybody can. If you put in the time and you put in the work and you surround yourself with people with a like mind, because you're going to have naysayers. The person you think is your best friend, once you start moving in the direction you're supposed to move in, a lot of times God will remove. You don't have to. God will remove the people who are not in your corner, who are not supposed to be there.
Right.
To make room for the gifts, for the things that you are trying to accomplish. He will make it so that the room is made. And and a lot of times we don't listen to that because we think that person is our best friend. When in all actuality, I know a friend, as the Winans would say, that sticks closer than any brother.
Don't start nothing, Dr. Hodge over there.
I'm trying to tell you now.
People look. Okay. I gotta go to a few studio audience comments. Courtney, he praising him. He said, keeping it 100. You praising. Shatavia, what is this name? Let me see. Oh, Shantavia. James said, great man, great coach, great leader, such an inspiration.
Thank you, Miss James.
And let's see some other studio comments that came in. Oh, Dawn Whitty. She said, oh, love you, Kim Jacobs. Love you, Dawn.
We love you, Kim.
Thank you so much. Love you guys. You know what? It's interesting that you say just kind of being yourself and being your own kind of leader. When you grow up in the projects, I don't know what it is about it, but when you grow up in the projects and you have to live a certain way to survive it is not even that it's also bad or anything, because you have your friends that are people that grew up with you, that had your back, and you love them, they love you. Nothing happen to nobody down here in this part of town, but when you finally do grow up and you start trying to go in your own way of life, it's like I just don't really care what other people try to say and dictate to me of my personality and my style of life, because I know that who I am, God created me to be. And if I'm here to make a difference on this earth,
That's right.
So I think you share similar philosophies. That's why I said that.
I have two childhood best friends that they both took the same path. They went to prison. They're convicted felons, and they have to work certain jobs. Now I'm not downplaying that. One just FaceTime me just now as we're talking. Love them both to life. I really do. I respect those guys. They love and respect me.
Right.
We get together, but we get together, on typically on my terms.
Mm-hmm.
Now they don't live that life today. They're
Right.
totally different today. But even when they were going through, I never left their side. One, I had to testify for. I had to be a character witness for. I know his character, but I also understand the mistakes that he made. And I didn't condone the mistakes.
Right.
But I do love the person.
Right.
And I know the person because I've been knowing him for 40 years, 40 plus years, and I'm only 47, so all my life, basically. And I love those guys. And I say that to say this. You don't necessarily have to not be around the people that you grew up with because you're different, because you chose a different path. You just have to pick and choose what that looks like.
Right.
And that's what I've done over the years. Now, I'm a professional, but every now and again, I'm still Damien.
I know the statement. Go ahead.
I'm still Damien. In every, so I like to get with my friends and talk how I talk. I like to interact and have fun. But of course, I'm a professional every day in what I do and how I interact with people. This journey, Ms. Jacobs, this journey has been nothing short of remarkable for me. And the things I want to do in the second half of my life has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with people and the people that I touch. Chadwick Boseman. I never really praise men like that because I just think the higher power deserves all of that praise.
Right.
But that young man was merely an angel set here on earth for all of us.
For all of us, yes.
For all of us. He was in our midst. And he was special.
Yes. Yes.
He was special.
Very.
He knew and God knew what he would leave behind, the legacy
that's right.
that he would leave behind. And that's what I challenge listeners and I challenge people to do is when the day is set and your journey is up, what will they say? I'm still working on mine because I'm just, I'm messed up. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I got it all figured out. I don't.
Right. Nobody does.
But I know where I want to go. And I got a good idea as to how to get there. And so we must all position ourselves to help one another, to pick each other up.
Yes.
We're in a really sad climate on this earth. And if we can't, at the very least, just love one another,
that's right.
we're in big trouble.
That's right.
We're in big trouble. I meet people all the time, and it's funny how I make people comfortable. Everywhere I go, I've had people just say, "Hey, who are you?" I mean, white people, black people, just
Yeah, I mean, anybody, I can imagine.
who are you? I said, man, I'm just little old Damien. I ain't nobody. You know, I'm nobody. And I just believe that love will prevail in the end. I may not see it, you may not see it. You may not see the manifestation of what, of what we've sown, as Black people from the very beginning, from 1619 all the way to 2020, 400 years ago. We are peaceful people. We're just peaceful. And when we're in an uproar or outrage, it's deep rooted stuff that causes us to put ourselves, in bad positions. Right. We talk a lot about, we've talked a lot about over the years, being single, being from single parent homes,
right,
and things like that. Let me tell you something. My mom taught me how not to be. My mom had bad men around in her life. She was married. She just didn't have a lot of men, but the men she had were terrible men. And she taught me what not to do. I'm not saying I haven't made some mistakes. I've made plenty of them. And guess what? I'm going to make plenty more. But I think if your heart is pure,
right, and
you err on the side of what's right in all that you do and say, I think you're on the right path.
Right.
So I didn't really think that we would dig so deep into a conversation like this.
Yeah, so you never know what to expect on the Kim Jacobs Show.
And that makes me so grateful for you and your platform and what you aspire to do in other people. It's nothing less than spectacular and remarkable that you have the heart that you have. And I know your husband and your family are very, very proud of that, because I don't know you, and I'm proud to see you in this light. And this has nothing to do with you interviewing me. I could have ran into you on the streets and had this conversation. I just see a heart that's pure for people. And if we just get 2 or 3 more, that can add to that, we're doing better.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Better.
Well, you over here, Dr. Hodge, you're gonna preach here. You're gonna preach here on the Kim Jacobs Show. You're talking about your dissertation services. I don't know what you might need to go ahead and take them double PhDs over to Bishop T.D. Jakes, over to Pastor Jacobs or somebody's church, because you going in. I'm like, I'm not prophesying or anything. I'm just saying what I'm hearing here is pretty. Let me go to a couple of studio audience comments. But you over here preaching. Courtney, my brother, said great platform and great guest. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you. Let me see what other comments came in. Courtney had made another comment earlier when you were talking, and I wanted to make sure I put that up there too. But it takes a minute to get back. So here it is. Oh, he said, God removes people that we may want to be there, but it can be tough.
He's right. And that's exactly what I was saying. He probably articulated that a little bit better than myself. but that is exactly correct. He just, if you err on the side of what's right and you lean on him
Mm-hmm.
and not to your own understanding, and he will just, those people will fall off.
See, now you write in my scripture, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not into thine own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge him. And
Acknowledge him. That's
he
it.
will direct.
He will.
See, I knew I liked you with that smile over there. When I saw that smile, I said, you know what? He's going to be a great guest. And I was like, oh, that was a great recommendation, Shannon. Thank you so much.
I thank you. I'm just a small part of this huge, movement that we're trying to take on with all the things that are going on in the world, and also right here, on our streets, in our Black communities, and it's beyond Black on Black, and I think Black on Black crime, that's tough to swallow as well.
Yeah.
And we got to do better. But I think we can control that more so than we can control others,
Right.
inflicting harm upon us.
Right.
For no reason. And it happens everywhere. It's happened in Nashville. People, young men have been gunned down, for running. I mean, it's just it's happening everywhere, and we just gotta lock arms,
right?
And it's not okay. We got the sports leagues are and we're in the right place, but we just have to invoke change. And I think you do that. And I think change only comes when the impact is felt economically.
Right.
That's the only time people change is when their money gets funny.
You talking right down my brother's line. He's been doing a Redemption of the Black Man series on my show. And they talk about, they're coming back on, guys, also on September 14th, just so you guys can already know. The Redemption of the Black Man is a series that my brother has been spearheading here on my show. And it's a panel of African-American men, and they talk about, and I'm sure you'd be a great person to be on that panel too.
I would love to be.
Okay, I'll tell them about that too, for sure. And Courtney Jacobs is on there too, the one that is commenting. He's a part of it, and he owns a wellness company. But they talk from the economic perspective.
Right.
Let me do this too. Let you all know, I encourage you to subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show. And right on my YouTube channel is where I would like for you all to go. Just click subscribe, turn on your notifications, and turn them to all. When you do that, then you get alerted when the show goes live at 11 o'clock. Okay, so make sure you take a moment to do that. I do need to also share with you that today's episode is sponsored by, let me pull that up, it's sponsored by John Maxwell Group, and it's Raphael DeJean, and he is a certified speaker with the John Maxwell Group. And let me take you directly to their site to share with you how you can actually become a part of his team, his speaker team. If you're interested in becoming a part of the John Maxwell team and you're a leader, or you want to book speakers or be booked as a speaker, Raphael DeJean, who came here from Cameroon, he was a judo expert, but came here and has become literally a multimillionaire in his own right. 214-498-4352. And he helps you be able to become all that you can be as an independent certified coach, teacher, and trainer with the John Maxwell Group. If you'd like to be connected directly to the John Maxwell Group through Raphael DeJean, the phone number is 214-498-4352. And I'll also put this link the link is right in the body of today's broadcast. Again, thank you so much for being today's sponsor, Raphael DeJean and the John Maxwell team. All right. If you would like to ever sponsor an episode of the Kim Jacobs Show, all you have to do is email me Kim@thebalancedoctor.tv, and your sponsorship or advertisement will be placed right into the broadcast. If you'd also like to support the Kim Jacobs Show, you can do that by sending any level of a Cash App to Kim Jacobs Inc. or paypal.me/Kim Jacobs Inc. And the important thing that I want you to know is that I have a Patreon membership, and that Patreon membership gives you exclusive after party content with people like Dr. Damien Hodge, who will actually go backstage and share some exclusive content just for the paying Patreon members. And we take the gloves off. I mean, it's off the chain. After party gets a little bit a trip. Okay. So you can go to patreon.com/The Kim Jacobs Show to become a Patreon member. All right. Dr. Hodge, anything else that you want to share with today's? Oh, this is my mom. She's like, girl, you better say my comment. Good morning. Good to see you both this morning. A pure heart is truly a good heart. This is my single mom that raised me.
Hi, Mama. How you doing, Mama?
And you know what, Dr. Hodge, as I hear your voice and the passion that you sound like you have in your voice, you never know. You could be leading some people across some bridges one day too. All you got to do is elevate it a little bit and go. You ready with and slurred. You be ready. You be ready.
Look, don't put that on me.
That's funny. Let me encourage you all to tune in, to go to Quest Church prayer line right at noon. And Pastor Jacobs is praying for people during COVID-19. He does a recap of Sunday service. If you want to be a part of that, 978-990-5000. Access code is 322083. Again, 322083 # in order to access the prayer line at noon.
Leave that up for a second. Can you leave that up?
Absolutely. It's 978-990-5000. Access code is 322083 #. And it's from 12 to 12:30, Monday through Friday. And so today is Tuesday through Friday, and Pastor Jacobs is praying for COVID-19. He's sharing statistics, but he actually really wants the world to know that the church is praying for people during these unforeseen times. Okay, so make sure you be over there. Dr. Hodge, now you have from hood to hooded. People probably want to know, what does that mean? And I'm definitely gonna have to bring you back for part 2 when you actually release that, what we're gonna say. Go ahead.
Absolutely. I'm sending you a copy for free. I'm just gonna send it. I'm gonna bless you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to bless you for sure.
Thank you. Tell us what from hood to hood it is, though.
Well, it's really a chronicle of, my journey, and part of what I told you is in there, but it goes a little bit deeper, and just really spells out, I write so that a sixth grader can understand.
Good.
So I put it in just as simple as possible, because I want people of all ages, in all walks of life, to be able to read it and be inspired from something that they may read into it. And it just really chronicles coming from where I came from, and how it got to be, how I got to be, in this place. And it's gonna be special. It's gonna be really special.
When you release, you'll come back on the show.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Shannon said she wants a copy too, so she's typed that in the back. She's like, wait, I want a copy.
Absolutely. We may try to do maybe a collaboration where we can do the release with you or something in that sense. So I'll definitely keep you in mind, and we'll talk, and because I'd love for you. I just like your platform, and I like where your heart is, and I certainly would love to help build upon what you have, and I can help in any way. And if this is a great way for us to collaborate and do something together, would be great.
Well, with your double PhD And being from the hood too, like I'm from the hood, so I know when to, twitch my neck and stuff and get my little attitude. And I know how to 757. Well, go ahead, represent your area code.
615, baby. 615. I'm from the 61 Franklin, Tennessee. Don't y'all forget it. Franklin, Tennessee. That's me. I'm representing.
That's so funny. No matter where I am in life, I always say still 757 because 757 is where I was born, raised, and then now I'm in 704. Don't get me wrong. I love 704 too, but I'm from 757.
That's right. I'm from 615, baby. Right here.
It's been awesome. This has been a great time with you today. And right now, I know we're getting ready to bring the show to a close, but you with the working in the prison system, you said that's something you can do in your sleep and you love it, helping. What's been the most passionate thing that you have taken away from helping those that are incarcerated?
The most passionate thing, the thing that I take away from it is I get to witness the change when people, leave out of there and education is the great equalizer.
Yes.
And I just believe that, people who are educated make educated decisions. And if you have, you're not gonna find a person with a bachelor's degree talking about they getting ready to go kill up some folk. Typically, they're gonna think. It causes you to think because you've been in a pattern of thinking, of problem solving. Get what I'm saying? Understand? You've been in that pattern. So when you get upon release and you get out, you're gonna be thinking, I got this education. Let me position myself for greatness instead of let me find the quickest way I can make some money.
Right.
It's going to cause you to think. So that's why our governor has put forth the effort. He's put the money behind it. And that's why I'm here. He's put the money behind it. And he wants our incarcerated to be educated. He understands that education is the great equalizer. And it's important. So the takeaway for me is to see, guys be different.
Okay.
And ladies be different when upon release.
That's real good, real good. Really good. I'm really grateful for today's interview and spending this time with Dr. Damien Hodge from 615 area code with a great smile and preaching voice over there. So I'm really grateful that you've been on today. Listen, if you all have not registered for the 5K walk in honor of my son, many of you see me wear my button, and he too had a fantastic smile. Gabriel Michael Jacobs and my husband and our son transitioned home at the age of 12. He was 5'10", a gentle giant, loved sports, loved people, hated bullying. So he stood against bullying and was known as Guardian Gabe at his school because he protected people that were being bullied. So we do a 5K walk every year, and it's virtually this year on September 26th. And all you have to do is go to gabesheartfoundation.org to register. Any dollar amount registers you, and you'll get the link to be able to join in on the Zoom as we do our walk on September 26th. But we also have our t-shirts and we have masks this year as well. And the t-shirt price and the mask price are also there on the website, gabesheartfoundation.org. Register. And if you'd like to be a sponsor, make sure you click donate now. Put your dollar amount, which is going to be, that's the sponsorship rates, and you'll be added to the back of the t-shirt. I have to turn in the order this week. So if you're going to go ahead and be a sponsor, make sure you send your logo to kim@thebalancedoctor.tv and get added to the back of the t-shirt for this year's 5K walk. Thank you guys for watching today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. We'll be back tomorrow with another great guest. All kinds of fantastic guests this week lined up. And we know Freestyle Friday is when we talk about whatever you want to talk about as my studio audience. So go ahead and start sharing your ideas for this week's Freestyle Friday. Dr. Damien Hodge, thank you for being my guest today. You are a fantastic guest. You can come back anytime.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a blessing. It's certainly been a blessing, and I appreciate you and all that you do. And thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. See you tomorrow.